Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, in a video a while back I talked about headlamps, and this one is going to be about 18650 size flashlights from Wurkkos, because I need to narrow stuff down a little bit anyway, and I'm not going to go over each and every one of them, all their little things and stuff, but you know, we always are kind of looking for the perfect flashlight. And I think if Wurkkos, they've got the ingredients to the puzzle here. If they combined some of the stuff and improved and fixed some other things, they could have like the perfect flashlight. And you can't always just like swap body parts, because I was swapping out a different flashlight body doing something, and later on I looked at this one, and this is a lithium battery leakage. When I was tightening down a battery on something else, this came off the SC31 Pro, the Sofran. Sofran is a parent company of Wurkkos. Wurkkos seems to be a little bit more snazzy with their stuff, and Sofran tends to be more mundane and plain. But that's what you got to watch out for sometimes. What this probably was is these threads weren't meant for that, whatever I was doing, and I went too far and crushed the base of the battery. So I've got to look at my batteries. I haven't found it yet. But anyways, 18650 size is, you know, it's a fairly small battery. I mean, as a comparison, old school comparison, here's a D cell. You know, here's a D size cell. So they're still pretty small. A lot of people think that these size flashlights are too big, you know, to carry every day, which is, you know, okay. You know, I personally, I like small flashlights that do a lot of things. You can get flashlights that are half this size. They call them like 18350s. That do a lot of stuff. They just don't run as long. But this seems to be a good compromise. So anyways, before we get into that, I was walking around the parking lot, and I found this. Now this is, it had this black thing over the front of it, you know, which is just a diffuser. But if you look at it, it's this little Christmassy type of thing. It was a vaporizer type of jobby here. So let me get something. I can get my knife that I had as a kid. If anything's going to get me, this one will do it. And it won't be the first time. But what I was going for was the battery in it. But it has such a neat circuit. I took away the heating element and everything. Here's still this printed circuit board in there. I left that in because this housing pops off, but it, you know, it's just a clear protective thing. And like I said, this other thing is diffuser. I'm getting this because there was a switch. The whole thing was in like a plastic housing. And then here was your juice cartridge here. And then here's a little mouth stem. And here was a little red switch that had like pulse on and off and everything. But I tore it all apart. But anyways, this is your little switch. Well, look at that. It's got these little, when it's charging, this glows. Let me turn this light off here. When it's charging, that thing glows, you know, like different colors. I mean, it glows green, pulsing. All right, let's go all the way up. You see how that red is really bright? So it's got these little RGB LEDs on this thing. And here's your battery capacity, you know, 100%. I guess this would be your juice level. But it's got a little Christmassy theme. Anyway, it's pretty cool. And I'm going to leave it like that in there because it's a USB-C type of charging. And it's 3.7 volts, 2.41 watt hours. So if you want to know how many, you know, a lot of these are based on milliamp hours, right? How many milliamp hours is that? So you go 3.7 divided by, what was it? 2.41 watt hours. 2.41 times 1,000. Is that right? I don't know if I did that right or not. Let me try this again. 2.41 divided by 3.7 times 1,000. I think this is the right one. 651 milliamp hours, or what would we call this? Milliamp hours. So 650. That's not bad. You can see that, compared in size and everything. What I was going to do is just, snip these leads off. But you've got a good charging circuit here. You've got a good indicator. Now all I need to do is, what do I need this for? Well, I can just plug, like I said, I can just plug this thing in while it's charging, and it has these little Christmassy lights. And I think it stays steady when it's done. See that? It's gimmicky, I know, See, it's charging. But it does like a little pulse green. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's get to the real stuff. Probably lost most of the people. Oh well, that's all right. I have a tendency to do that, get lost in the ozone. All right, so these are pretty good size. Now, I like 21700, and I've got two more flashlights coming in of the 21700 size, but we're talking about 18650. All right, so Wurkkos has come out with some tactical ones. And right now I only have two of them. I have the TDO2. It's a TIR type of lens with, a tail switch. No crenulations up here. Very nice texturing. And this is a reverse clicky. All right, so you got to push it all the way on. I find this doesn't bother me. I thought it would be a really big issue that I'd need forward switch, but I don't use a lot of momentary. But anyways, there are disadvantages to that. Like I said, nothing's perfect on these. And the TDO3, this one has the crenulations. And if you look at it, they both take the same size battery. But this one's just a little bit bigger because this one is a thrower. I like the beam pattern that comes out of this. But again, you got pluses and minuses with everything. All right, so the minus with this one is that this magnet, I love the switch. I love the way it rotates and everything. I love the way it can come on in your preset whatever. If you want to come on in turbo, it's ready. If you want just do 2 clicks all the way over, it's in turbo. I love this little magnetic E-switch, button. I wish they'd use that on all their magnetic switches, but it's you wouldn't get a momentary out of it, but it gives you a strobe out of that. All right, so we got that. Here's your best button that Wurkkos has right here. On the FC13, it's also found on the TS11, but this one's still a little bit more ergonomic because of that scallop. You see there? This one, it stops. If that scallop is, reproduced by the head of the flashlight. Here's something else they did that was unique on this. This gold color. You've got silver and everything, but this was part of it. This was done separately. It actually gives it a little bit of a tint. I don't know, maybe if they threw that away, stopped that because of that or whatever, but that's pretty cool. The good thing about these are, it's got these little programmable lights. It doesn't do it in front. Let's see, I got 2 of these. One is a spot, and one is a flutter. They both have kind of like deep reflectors. One is 5000K, and the other one is 6,500K. So, you just take the pluses and minuses. This didn't have a magnetic tail cap when it came on, so I put one on there. The sleeper of the bunch, it's a very simple one, WKO3. If you're used to Olight Baton 3 type size flashlights with basically a little bit better capabilities, this is your guy right here. Yes, I still like Olight and everything, but this flashlight here is about $60 or $70 on sale a lot of times. These you can get $20, $30. Beam pattern, same thing, a TR gives you a nice little big white flood type of thing. And very compact. So out of these, what is my favorite? Well, I don't really have a favorite. This was pretty versatile because you can make it smaller. Most of these you can all of these you can put a shorter tube on these and make them, an 18350. Make it a little smaller flashlight. Same light output. It's just not going to last as long in all your different modes. I've been carrying around the TDO2 and this guy. I swap them out, if I feel I need to crenulate something, or there might be the possibility of crenulation. I use this one like for walking. Also, just the instant you push right here and you get spotlight. Not turbo, not spotlight. Strobe. I'm not going to do it, but you get it. It's a variable frequency one. It works better at night, but I think it would be possible during the day too, just to frighten off animals or something non-lethally if they're chasing you or coming at you, or even people, just to get their attention. And then, of course, the TS11, the little, I am a spotlight. God, this thing is great. I usually grab it because it's a great size for the hand, and if I need to spotlight something. Now, I don't always, because like I said, I've got this guy's little thrower that really comes in handy, this TS12. They eliminated the little green tint problem. I put a lanyard in there, I just do a loop, over a belt loop, so I can undo this, without having to look. Before, I had it clipped onto that other little clip and the iMini, and to get that off, it was difficult. Putting it on is not easy because you got to thread the clip just right up on the belt and everything else. So let me pause while I do that. But having that lanyard attached, see, that one didn't come with a belt clip. So a lot of times you got to modify these things to get what you want. Like this one. It comes with just the short body, but you should add a longer body to it just to give you a longer run time and everything. And also, before charging any of your batteries, I know they tell you to do this, but really inspect them just to make sure that there's not leaking, because I've got one lurking around here. Now, I read up, and you can use isopropyl alcohol to help clean this up, and baking soda. Baking soda will help neutralize the lithium too. Like if you had a lithium fire. You remember those little sand buckets? I don't even remember those. It would say fire on them. And they'd have them in school and industrial places like that. And people would put cigarette butts in there and crap like that. But it was supposed to be for extinguishing fires. Baking soda. Another wonderful use of baking soda besides cleaning everything is extinguishing or helping to extinguish fires like that. Most of your batteries in the 18650 size are going to be around 3,000 milliamps. You may get a little bit more, 3,400 by lowering the voltage by 0.1. Olight has proprietary battery. This is not one of them. This is one that it's an Olight battery that, but a lot of times they'll have the positive and the negative up here on it. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like I've got away from Olight. That, and also they were riding on their laurels too much, I think. They had low CRI stuff. Now, they're innovative, don't get me wrong, and they come out with a lot of stuff, but they just seem to be higher price. They weren't in my league of budget, flashlights. But I don't want the super cheap flashlights, the little zoomy ones that, yeah, they might be metal, but they might be plastic. You see them advertised on TV. They run over to the Humvee. Oh, that's what you need. Used by special forces and all that. Those are crap. Those are junk. But, and overpriced for the junk that they are. But these are always good flashlights. I haven't had any problems with, like I said, the only one that I have any problem with is this one here, this flashlight. I think I fried the electronics in it because, again, it wasn't designed for this type of tail switch. I mean, the one that I threw on it was, I think I pulled it off of this guy and put it on. Anytime you experiment, you might get mixed results. And one of the mixed results is you could destroy something. But anyways, yeah. So there you go. I'm not doing a whole bunch of beam patterns of these and everything else. You can look at my, I've got playlists for flashlights, and I've also got playlists for Wurkkos, and you can usually find every one of them in there where I've done something and with beam patterns and everything. I just want to give you, they've got, I have the TD01 Wurkkos coming in. It's just like a 21700 spotlight like this, like TIR. And then I have, oh, you see that? See that? It just came on, and what was near him? I didn't touch him. Man, one time I found this guy. I like this flashlight. There, I get it again. I like this flashlight, but he was doing a disco thing. He was in strobe mode. I got a box there where I put flashlights and knives and everything else, and this thing was just sitting there just discoing away. Hear that? I think that's Tiger Tom. There we go. That's the only issue I've got with this one, is if they could fix that, because I do have just random magnets just lying around. It's got to be that one. And it's, as you can see, it's not touching. It doesn't have to be touching it. Let's see how close we can get. Get close. Whoa. And it'll do it on turbo too. It just depends on where you're. That's turbo. So it depends on how it's oriented. But yeah, that's an issue, I would think, because there's no other way to lock it out. This is supposed to be off, right? It's supposed to be off. So the only other way is you got to do this. Then it won't come on. But what a pain. You got to rotate this. Then you got to rotate this. You got to remember which way to rotate. It won't go the other way. That's another thing, Improvements. You could have made the same sequence just go this way too. Still have her final stop at the end. That way, no matter which way a person grabs it and rotates, it turns on. Okay, yeah. That's another chance for it to turn on. But hey, you've got other issues about turning on, flashlight turning on, and then it has nothing to do with rotation. It's called magnetism. Magnets. Magnetic fields. You didn't check for that. Sorry. But the machining on these, they keep improving, and the finish is more matte and everything. See, look, this is pretty cool. The 13, started innovating stuff. And then these are the newer ones. Where is my newer one? Oh, I dropped him in my pocket already. I tend to carry this one just because I'm trying to get used to tail switch, and I like tail switch. It's all right. It's not bad. I can use forward or reverse, and no side switch on it. This one doesn't have a front switch and everything, but it's got the little rotating thing, and then the E switch. Like I said, this type of tail switch, I love this E switch on here. That's something that they get right. It's also found on like the little TS10, but we're not talking about this size flashlight. But still, yeah, the beam pattern of this flashlight, like I said, I like that. It's a spot, with a little bit of a flood. You got the crenulations, you got everything else, but just randomly, you got to watch out. This thing will just, come on. Now, again, it doesn't latch on. It doesn't come on and stay on. As long as that magnetic field gets away from it, the light goes off. But, in the same respect, you can have the light on. The light is on, and you get a strong magnetic field, you can turn it off. See? Without touching it. So, I could see a tactical situation where you might be searching for a burglar in a high voltage environment or something, and high voltage generates a magnetic field. So do UFOs, but your flashlight could just stop working at a time when you needed it to work. And if you're used to light being on and then it's off and you don't have a backup, you're in trouble. You're in the dark. You're up shit creek without a paddle. Uh-oh, we had to bleep that one out. You're up dark creek without a flashlight. There you go. Dark creek without a... That doesn't sound as good. Anyway, there you go. There's my ramblings. There's my thoughts. My favorite, I really don't have a favorite yet. Like I said, I've got a combination. That's why I've got so many different flashlights. I just grab one for the situation. Generally, I've been carrying this guy around. But like I said, if I'm going to go outside or I'm going to go out anywhere, I'm not really worried about this thing coming on randomly too much, although it has. You don't want to stick it in your back pocket because I did one time accidentally rotate it. This does have a good detent, but it is possible to turn it on with a rotary. And this is momentary, it's spring loaded, so if you just momentary touch it, you're not getting anything. You gotta hold it down for like 3 seconds to get your strobe. Which I will do like this. See, there we go. See how it's a variable oscillation there? That's good and disorienting. This one, with it already on, you just double click and you got your strobe. Again, it varies. And then you're back to normal. So you can get to turbo pretty quick. It's just not the way you would expect. You just have to 1, 2, 3. That's your turbo. You could leave it in that if you want. So that's the mode that you have it memorized on. It doesn't step it down. What I usually do is, it's like moon. I go the next one up. It's kind of a usable light there. I carry it like that. If I think that I need more brightness, I'll go one more higher than that. But I usually don't run in high or turbo mode. Because turbo gets hot and high, I usually don't need it, but it's nice to have. So there you go. Like I said, no one flashlight's going to do a little bit of everything. Some are dedicated spotlights. Some are a combination. Like I said, this is a good compromise right here on the beam pattern. And this is very aggressive clip. I can tell you right here, man. That combined with these little knobbies and everything, when you go to pull it out of your pocket, it grabs. This clip is not coming off. So there. Anyways, I've rambled on too long. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. And flashlights come in handy. Right now, the winds are for like 50 or 60 miles an hour, and a lot of times power lines get blown out, and you don't have a flashlight. You're in the dark. Believe me, I won't be in the dark. This guy could come on. If I get a magnetic storm going on, it'll come on. I'll have flashlight power. Or off. We don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. And now for some specifications and a life hack. If you don't like odd music or specifications, there's a thing called volume control. or fast forward. Thank you for watching. I forgot this one. I have the SC11 also, but this is the FC12. And what's unique about this one, it's got a deep head here, but it's the same diameter as the body. And it's a thrower. I mean, it's got a really great pattern right here. It's tail switch operated. Then this changes, the intensity, but it's got that spot with flood. No, it doesn't have crenulations, you know. But yeah, this is a great little light, and you can convert it down into a little 18-350 size, so it'll fit in the palm of your hand. And there's a way to get around this not being tail switches just by putting another a rotary switch on the back, like a magnetic switch, and then you're basically carrying it within the off mode, and you just turn it on, and then it's a side switch operate. But I didn't want to forget this one because it's unique. There are other ones, they fatten the head out in some way, but this one, yeah, you just pay for it in a little bit more length, but don't overlook this one. It's a simple user interface. They changed it to now it has a tactical mode, and it used to have a ramping, but it doesn't anymore. But this is a great flashlight also, and I forgot to include it there. I always forget something. If I'm doing a list of here's all my this and this, I forget a whole series of them. But anyways, there you go. Thanks for watching.